Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that you haven't been able to get accurate compass readings. The navigation's been a real bitch. It's because you've been caught in something called the Devil's Triangle. I can show you on the chart here. It goes from Bermuda down to Puerto Rico, back up to Florida. The Queen Anne is stuck here on the eastern edge of it. You've been caught in some kind of time warp, in some kind of limbo dimension. And now you've popped out the other side into 1998.
I'm done fooling about, man. There's a war on, and in it or no, I don't plan to lose me mind, nor me ship, the likes of a jackal like you.
Oh boy, it's a time travel podcast. My name is Nate, and he wants to believe that the truth is out there. It's Brian Martin.
I trust no one. Least of all us, folks.
Fight the future, Brian.
Yeah. Apology is policy.
Wait, what? That wasn't
That was another one.
Was it?
That was another one. Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yep. Deceive, inveigle, obfuscate was another one.
Oh, wow. I really only thought there were just a couple of them.
Well, there was a different one on this episode.
Right, but wasn't it just fight the future in German?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. If you're a little lost, folks, we're talking about the X-Files. Brian, it's after Star Trek month, heading into the middle of October here.
It's spooky season, right? The month of October, we want to kind of get in the mood, right?
True.
The X-Files is definitely one of the hallmarks of eerie mood setting of the 1990s, I would say.
Yeah.
But maybe even more importantly than that is that this new episode is dropping on 10/13, October 13th, which is, of course, the production company founded by Chris Carter, because 10/13 is his birthday, October 13th.
Yeah, that's very original of him.
I made this.
There are a lot of times in the series where you will see clocks that are at 10/13 or 11/20. Oh God, I want to say it's 11/22, but that's my birthday. But I also think it was his wife's birthday. It's either 11/21 or 11/22.
Oh,
So you would see repeatedly throughout the series clocks set at those times.
interesting.
Particularly in the middle of the night when Mulder was being visited by like a creepy informant or something like that.
Yeah, they always showed up at 11:22. How do you know that? Did you find that on the internet or where? Like...
No, I've known that since the show was on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what's with these numbers? And the reason I noticed the second one is because it is either on my birthday or the next day.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair.
So it was easy to kind of, okay, well, why is my birthday always showing up on the clock?
Right. Well, the X-Files is something fun to jump into, especially after Star Trek.
I spent the last 30 minutes or so prepping by just jamming out to some Vertical Horizon, you know? Really getting in that 1998 mode.
Getting in that 90s feel, yeah. I'm going to get into a little feel myself here.
Oh, good.
What are you drinking?
Well, so I actually, again, spooky season, Halloween. This is pumpkin beer that I've got.
Ooh.
This is Southern Tier Pumpkin, which is the best of the pumpkin. I'm not really a pumpkin guy when it comes to beverages and things like that.
Neither.
But Southern Tier's pumpkin is my jam every year. And this one is caramel pumpkin. So, got a little extra jazz on it.
Weird. Okay.
I'm drinking it out of a vessel I obtained from the Flying Saucer.
What's the Flying Saucer?
Oh, Flying Saucer. For those of you who have never been to one, it's a wonderful establishment with locations all over the U.S. The original one's in Texas, but a beer hall, basically, and they had a huge tap wall. They were like one of the places to get craft beers from around the country before the big brewery explosion.
And you got one
happened.
there in Charlotte?
Yes, and so I've got this glass from the Flying Saucer, so it has a Flying Saucer on it, and this also happens to be the glass they released right before the 2016 election, and it has Hillary Clinton on it. So I'm going for X-Files, I'm going for 90s.
Yeah, well, the Flying Saucer is apt. That's perfect.
And Hillary's husband appears in this episode
Yeah.
on the wall.
Yeah,
So,
he is definitely alluded to.
Really trying to get in the 90s mindset here.
Yeah. All
The
right.
X-Files /90s mindset.
Well, we're watching Season 6, Episode 3, called Triangle.
Yeah. And this one, original air date, November 22nd of 1998, which was my birthday, and perhaps Chris Carter's wife's birthday, too.
Yeah, happy birthday, Brian.
This was an episode I watched on my birthday, and it was kind of a huge deal for me, because this was a real unique episode of the show.
Yeah, it is definitely different than some of the other ones.
This is in that...
in some interesting ways.
This is when the X-Files was just starting to edge into that kind of long in the tooth. This show's been on a long time. Are we just spinning wheels? Can they do anything new and exciting? So this was a season right after the movie came out. Feature film came out in June of 98, and then season 6 debuted after that in September or October.
Oh, yeah, okay.
On June 19th.
The impossible scenario that we never planned for? Well, we better come up with a plan.
Take your greatest fear.
These people don't make mistakes.
Your most paranoid suspicion.
We have no context for what killed those men.
And your darkest nightmare. And multiply it by X.
Thanks for putting me back there, because I remember thinking what a disappointment that movie was just seemingly outside of the story.
Right. I really feel like they sort of tried to do their best, but the show itself got so complex. They shot it between seasons 4 and 5, and then released it between seasons 5 and 6, and then made season 5 after they filmed the movie, right? So you end in a place in season 5 where, oh my God, what's going to happen to Jeffrey Spender? Well, guess what? The movie's not going to tell you, because that character didn't exist yet when they filmed it, you know?
I didn't know the timing of it, but I did know my experience with it was like, why is this so outside of the narrative that we're all like, they were selling it like this is going to have all the answers, everything you're waiting for, go to the movies, and then...
Well, they had to,
Bupkis,
you know,
right?
Yeah,
Bupkis.
and it's like tonally off. It's just a bizarre thing. But like, how do you make a movie out of this show smack dab in the middle of the series? That's
the second part is the tricky part.
Yeah,
smack dab in the series, because I think instead of doing like a season 11, season 12 situation, this could have been a movie franchise after the fact.
I think they really wanted it to be.
Well, they didn't do it right.
But the people making the movies, i.e. Chris Carter and all of them, were like, just had no idea what to do with it.
Yeah.
Trust no one, Mr. Mulder.
It's pretty terrible, actually.
It's shocking to me. Like, the first movie after the end of the show was I Want to Believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a Monster of the Week episode. But it was like a middle-of-the-road Monster of the Week episode.
Yeah, it wasn't even... But at least it was its own story.
Like, it was about grafting animals together and shit. It was weird.
Yeah.
You know, but like, if you're giving me a movie, you better have the goddamn Fluke Man in it. You know what I mean? If it's going to be a Monster of the Week thing, it better be
something
fucking
good. Yeah,
Tooms. Like, you have to do at least as good as your best Monster of the Week.
Okay,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see rehashed.
I don't want Tooms to come back. He got crushed in that escalator. But you got to have something that can go toe-to-toe with that. And they just... never did. And then season 10 and 11 came along, and I think we've talked about this. They kind of peppered in 3 or 4 really good episodes.
Yeah.
Out of, 18?
Yeah.
16 or 18 that they did?
Yeah.
And then the rest is, especially the mythology ones, I'm like,
Those
where did
terrible.
you guys go wrong?
Yeah.
What happened here?
I guess we can talk a little bit about the series before we get into the episode, because, I mean, this was a show that shot off like gangbusters when it came out. This is a show that had 3 finales, and every one of them shit the bed.
Yeah, every one of them was a disappointment.
The end of season 10, the movie that came after, and the new finale from the extended seasons, every one of them was seemingly worse. Like you had no idea what you were doing with your story.
Yeah.
And this might be the first show that I just dropped. And it was right after these episodes, I think like season 8, 9. I watched some of the Doggett episodes when Robert Patrick came on and was an agent.
John Doggett, Kirsch's task force leader. You might have just introduced yourself.
Well, I was getting around to it.
That was a tough period.
Yeah, they
That
did.
was a real tough period.
There were some fun moments. There were a few fun episodes.
I have some pretty good memories of episodes from season 9, which was the season that was completely without Mulder until the finale.
Right.
And they brought in Monica Reyes.
And Robert Patrick, yeah. Wasn't Lucy Lawless on there at some point?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was.
Doing
I don't remember
something.
what the deal with her was, but she was in there at some point.
But-
Adam Baldwin was there as part of whatever the conspiracy that Doggett was involved in was.
Man, see, this is definitely a show that outlived its welcome. And which is a real shame because it was so good when it was good.
Yeah, and I guess that's why I bring up season 6, because obviously the movie is a turning point in terms of our perception
In
of
some
the show,
sense.
right?
In some sense. She's laying on her back in Antarctica staring up at a flying saucer and came back the next season a skeptic.
Yeah, it was like, maybe not. That could have been anything.
Couldn't believe my own eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You got to keep the show going.
Boy, that's rough.
But what they were doing in season 6 was really getting creative. And when I looked at this episode and where it fell among other things during the season, the episode that immediately precedes this episode, the second episode of season 6, is Drive, which is the episode, which is maybe the most culturally significant episode of the X-Files ever.
If for no other reason than it brought about Breaking Bad.
Correct. This is where
that's where
Breaking
you're
Bad
leading,
started.
yeah.
That's exactly where I was going, because this is the episode where Vince Gilligan wrote the story and Bryan Cranston was the guest star, and that brought the two of them together. And give them 10 years and we get one of the best TV shows of all time, right?
Yeah, Breaking Bad, and then Better Call Saul.
And then Better Call Saul. So, I mean, the impact of that 1 hour of television could not have been predicted.
Yeah, just having those two having met each other is one of the greatest things to happen to television.
Yeah.
Maybe even ushered in prestige television, after Sopranos and then Breaking Bad, probably shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I mean, HBO was at the forefront of that, but I think around the time it was like AMC had Mad Men.
Yeah.
And then they had Breaking Bad, and that's where those prestige shows really started to break through. I guess The Shield on FX kind of predated that too.
A little bit, yeah.
But Mad Men and Breaking Bad, those were the two that really caught the world's attention,
Right. And I think in some of these later episodes, if I'm not mistaken, Aaron Paul also makes an appearance on this show.
He does.
Isn't he something about he's controlled by bees or something?
Yeah, that was one of the late episodes that I thought was really great.
Was he controlled by bees or
No, I think he was
controlling bees. Okay.
Yeah, he was controlling bees.
And yeah, Vince Gilligan got his start in the writer's room on the X-Files, and he's written some of the best episodes too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bad Blood, that we refer to quite a bit with Luke Wilson in it.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
That was him. He wrote the next, after Drive, there's this episode, which was written by Chris Carter, and then he writes Dreamland, which is the two-parter right after this. Which is
he did that one too.
Where Mulder switches bodies.
Yeah, it's a body
with
swap
Michael McKean.
episode. Body swap episode, but they did it well.
So fucking great.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then the episode directly after that two-parter, the Christmas Ghost one, I think. He didn't write that one. He wrote a Christmas one the year earlier. The point I'm trying to make is that they were on a real fucking tear.
Yeah.
This season. In terms of just every week being some sort of, that's wild. I've never seen this before,
Shifting gears a little bit. Yeah.
So other episodes, just real quick, other episodes written by Vince Gilligan of this show, and this is not all inclusive. Unusual Suspects. The episode about the lone gunman coming together for the first time.
Oh man, that's his?
That's him.
That's got the crossover with Homicide: Life on the Street.
Why is a detective from another network tracking down extraterrestrials on Fox?
What I'm looking at here is an FBI agent likes to talk about space aliens.
Because it's the only place he can.
It's got Richard Belzer playing Detective Munch.
Munch is in that episode.
Linking the X-Files into Law and Order.
Of course, he was one of the guiding forces behind the Lone Gunman series, so he also wrote the unofficial finale of that show, Jump the Shark. He wrote the episode Small Potatoes. That's a top 10 for me.
Which one is that?
That's the one with the shapeshifter in it. The guy who disguises himself as Mulder at one point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. That episode also guest stars Darren Morgan, the writer of several really good episodes of this show, too.
I think my favorite episode is the one with Lord Kimboat.
Lord Kim. That's Jose Chung's From Outer Space?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a Darren Morgan episode.
Exactly, yeah.
But Vince Gilligan also did an episode later in season 6 called Monday, which was a runner-up for me for the episode we talked about this week.
Oh, is it a time travel episode?
It is. It's a Groundhog Day scenario.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we'll come back to that one at some point when it's appropriate to talk about Vince Gilligan. But like tonight, it's appropriate to talk about Chris Carter.
Makes sense.
Because it's his birthday.
So, season 6, episode 3, Triangle. What was this episode about?
Whoa, wait a minute. Doc, are you trying to tell me that my mother has got the hots for me? Precisely.
In the Sargasso Sea, the remains of a small boat drift through the water. And so too does our intrepid hero, Agent Fox Mulder. Unconscious and floating face down. How did he get here? Well, intel from his good pals Langley, Frohickey, and Byers, the lone gunman, led him into the Bermuda Triangle in search of the Queen Anne, a British passenger ship that mysteriously vanished in the early days of World War II. After Mulder disappears in those same waters, the lone gunmen petition Agent Scully for help. The FBI has seen some restructuring in the wake of the show's 5th season and the first feature film, and Scully must hastily navigate her own uncharted waters as she seeks help from her former supervisor, Walter Skinner. Some of you may know him as Daddy.
What?
There's a whole contingent of fans out there who fucking love him in a very sexual way, Nate. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, yeah.
I may be one of them after this episode. I don't know. And and exactly where is Agent Mulder? Would you believe 1939? Saved from a watery grave and hauled aboard the Queen Anne, Mulder is met first with its skeptical crew members and then by the German soldiers who have taken control of the vessel. Along the way, he sees some very familiar faces in new, but not much different roles, including the Smoking Man as a Nazi commander, Agent Jeffrey Spender as a German lackey, and even Dana Scully as an American assigned to protect a scientist whose role in the coming war will be instrumental in ensuring Hitler's defeat. But that can only happen if Mulder convinces the people aboard the ship to reverse course and head back to the era they came from.
Right.
Now, what that synopsis doesn't explain are the unique production aspects of this, which was shot like Alfred Hitchcock's Rope to look like several continuous shots, even though there were some deft edits made throughout. Like, screen goes dark long enough to cut, and then we kind of can structure and edit from there. But for the most part, this show is one continuous sequence every commercial break, right?
Yeah, it kind of comes off haphazard by doing that, too. I mean, do you feel like that's effective?
Well, that's one of the first things to talk about, right? Now, we talked a little bit a few minutes ago about how the X-Files movie didn't really feel like X-Files.
Trust no one, Mr. Mulder.
And I think there's a degree to which this episode doesn't really feel like X-Files.
No, it doesn't.
But what it does is provide a really unique, tense story that is made tense not by the normal things that would make an hour of the X-Files nerve-wracking, but by Scully has to wait on the elevator. And Scully's got to get through this hallway, and she's knocking into people. And, you know, Mulder's got to get from the ballroom over to this other space on the boat. You're watching all of this happen in real time. And the way the camera kind of, for the most part, tracks behind the people moving, as a story, it's pretty effective.
It's because it's energetic.
I think it's a really arresting. Yeah, it's hot. It's very kinetic, high energy, and the 45 minutes that it takes to watch it just zip right by.
Yeah,
you know,
and the music helps with that too. It's very upbeat, kind of stressful music.
Mark Snow leans into the drums a bit more than usual. Now, obviously, I don't know Mark Snow, rest in peace, But I think he probably had a lot of fun with that 1939 music.
Yeah.
Because it really allowed him to kind of play around and get a little, I don't know, like almost Raiders of the Lost Ark-ish with some of the, themes and the Nazis and everything.
Sure.
And
the
marching.
The tension that's built by the direction of the episode is, I don't know if maybe I was just coming into this looking for an X-Files episode, and as you mentioned, this is not your typical X-Files episode.
No.
I wasn't sure if it was working to have all of that movement, that constant following shot that you were talking about. They even go as far as to have split screens at a certain point to try and mimic and keep things moving, right?
As we build towards the climax. And it's interesting because this is 3 years before 24.
Right,
hits, where the split screen becomes such an integral piece of the storytelling.
Sure.
There's a specific moment during that split screen that is, a reviewer at the time said that it was the greatest minute of TV this year.
The greatest minute of TV in 1998
was the crossover split screen between Mulder and Scully when they walk past each other in different eras, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I remember that moment.
Sure.
And I remember my dad hooting out loud, and I was like, that's rad. Like that was such a cool thing, right? And there's a lot of cool things happening here.
Yeah. The problem is, though, I don't know what it was supposed to signify necessarily. Like, what were they trying to accomplish in that shot? Was it a storytelling element? Was it just kind of a cool thing to see?
I think that's what it was.
Why did they react that way to each other? You know what I mean? I guess we should describe it for anybody that isn't sure, but...
So there's a split screen portion where Mulder and the Scully analog from 1939 are walking towards us on the left side of the screen. Mm-hmm. Scully, in present day, is walking towards us on the right side of the screen, and they cross the middle of the screen at the same time.
And the reaction that Scully has to passing herself in the future,
it's like she felt something.
It's like they each felt something. They both kind of turned back and was like, what was that? And I think it at the end of the day, it just comes off being kind of a cool moment on screen.
Yes. We can pull it apart. I think there's stuff behind it, for sure.
But what? Really?
Well, okay, it depends on whether you think Mulder traveled through time or traveled into another dimension or did not travel at all.
Yeah, or was just floating unconscious in the water.
Or it was just a dream.
Yeah.
The episode is, in addition to just being a very differently shot, differently paced episode of the show, it's also a lot punchier than the show typically is. Like, there's a lot of moments where Mulder is kind of cracking wise and Scully's kind of cracking wise, and even Skinner at the end makes a comment about how he's going to kick Mulder's ass in a way that he doesn't normally talk to him.
Get some rest, Mulder, because when you get out of here, I'm going to kick your butt good.
And everybody's just a little
punchy. Yeah,
a little punchy in this episode,
Sure. But it's not one of the silly episodes.
No, Dreamland is a silly episode.
Dreamland's a silly episode. The Shapeshifter one that you mentioned is also kind of silly.
Small Potatoes, very silly. Jose Chung's silly, but deeply moving.
Venus was at its peak brilliance last night. You probably thought you saw something up in the sky other than Venus.
Yeah. So
that's what Darren Morgan's great at. It will be silly, but you will cry. That is Darren Morgan.
Yeah. And those are some of the best episodes of the series.
Yeah.
But they only work because they stand out from the rest of the series.
Yeah.
You get, 2-3 funny ones a season, maybe? And otherwise, they're trying to be dark and mysterious and spooky.
And this one does stand out, but it's mostly because of filmic elements at work, doesn't, right?
Yeah, which... in a way, keep it from feeling like your traditional episode. I think early on when we were talking about sliders, we talked about shows that, like, when you're watching it, it doesn't take 2 seconds for you to realize this is the X-Files. You know what I mean? Like, there is an atmosphere,
a look, a sound.
You know that show based on direction and feel and mood. And this one steps outside of that, and it might be one of the reasons that it doesn't fire on all cylinders for me.
So I'll tell you one other thing, because you bring that up, and the look and the feel of the X-Files. One other very important thing happened going into season 6.
Okay.
They moved production from Vancouver to Los Angeles.
Okay.
Which people at the time were also really nervous about, because Vancouver's just got that look. And it's the look of the X-Files, and it's the look of Twin Peaks. It's the look of these sorts of shows, right?
Sure, yeah.
LA doesn't quite capture that.
Right.
And I think that may have been part of the reason they were just going out, throw a bunch of paranormal shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
And they make some really great episodes in the process. But you're right. Typically, you look at an episode of The X-Files, and within seconds, it's like,
yeah,
I know what I'm watching.
Somebody's traipsing through the dark with a flashlight.
Right.
If you don't have a flashlight in your eyes, every 2-3 minutes, you're not watching the X-Files.
It's just it's got the perfect mood. It's got the perfect mise-en-scène. It's got the perfect sound accompanying it. It's lightning in a bottle. That's what the X-Files was.
So getting back a little bit to that split screen with Scully and her analog, you called her an analog in the past. What we've got here is the Wizard of Oz, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And because Mulder seemingly travels in time back to the Queen Anne in 1939, and the cast of the show in that era is filled out by the cast of the X-Files. All the big hitters are there. All of them.
Right.
Like the Lone Gunmen are in this episode. Spender is in this episode. The Smoking Man is in this episode. Skinner and Kirsch and
Kirsch's secretary. They all.
Yeah, I guess.
Kirsch's secretary is in the past. She's also in 1939.
Oh, is she? I didn't notice that.
She's the singer in the ballroom.
Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
So,
does she have a bigger part in the series than I remember?
No, I don't think so.
Just this episode, then.
Yeah. But I think that's. Oh no! Wait, no. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Skinner's secretary is actually Skinner's wife. Like, I mean, Mitch Pileggi's wife.
Okay.
Kirsch's secretary is the one that appears in the ballroom. She's not anybody's wife. I mean, I'm sure she's someone's wife now. She seems nice, but Jesus.
Yeah, no. But I do remember her on now that you mention that, the lounge singer. And I'm wondering, like, what are they trying to accomplish by this Wizard of Oz thing that they're doing? I mean, all it does for me is lend credence to the idea that he didn't really travel.
Right, but then the episode ends, and he's still got that smart on his cheek, right? Like,
but that could just be from having hit himself on a piece of wood in the water.
Thanks, Scully. I guess it could.
I mean, like, the point is he's been beat up by being in a boat accident anyway.
Sure.
So, I mean, sure, you could catch a black eye.
That's not the impression Mulder and thus we are left with. Like, our last thought is like,
right.
But was it a dream?
Right, but that's what the X-Files does.
That's what it's all about, right?
Right.
So, I think, by and large, the Wizard of Oz illusions are just designed to be kind of cute, more than anything, and to just add an extra layer to what would otherwise be a pretty straightforward X-File, right? Here's what we know. The ship disappeared in 1939. The Lone Gunmen found it in the water, and Mulder goes out to check it out. His boat is destroyed. They lose sight of him in, like, the fog of the Sargasso Sea, which is right on, like, whatever, the eastern portion of the Bermuda Triangle.
Where all that Nazi activity happened.
Right. Yeah. So the boat is there, right? So let's cut away everything else. This episode is about a boat that mysteriously reappeared 60 years after it vanished. Was there time travel involved? It seems like there probably was.
Maybe, unless it was
Right?
just adrift all that time.
Could have
But-
been just out there in the Bermuda Triangle.
Has it been adrift for all those years? Or has it traveled through time?
I think without the boat actually being in the present and allowing Scully and the lone gunman to board that boat, it would just be like, clearly this is some
Mulder
kind of
hallucinating.
hallucination on Mulder's part. But then the boat did show up in 1998, and they either just found it floating there or it did travel through time in some way, although it's also vacant.
Sure, and that's another wrinkle to it, right? Because Mulder, when he gets on board the boat, he's telling everybody, look, you're not in 1939, you're in 1998. And then he doesn't know until he hears that radio transmission that, nope, he's in 39.
Mayday, mayday, this is Special Agent Fox Mulder with the FBI. I'm on the SS Queen Anne. Ship in distress. Mayday, mayday.
The British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. As of today, September the 3rd, 1939, this country is at war with Germany.
Either the boat came forward in time and picked Mulder up, or Mulder floated back in time and the boat picked him up, right? But either way...
That's what's depicted, the boat picking him up out of the water, yeah.
Sure. But did Mulder float through whatever sent him back, or did the boat come forward and then go back in time, right?
Well, that definitely sounds like a conversation to have with the method of time travel discussion.
Sure. But what I'm getting at here is that there is the question of, did Mulder travel through time, or are all of these people existing outside? Is this a parallel dimension that they've floated into, right? And that's where I get into the Scully aboard the ship, Mulder and Scully aboard the ship thing, and maybe they are occupying the same boat at the same time, but in different dimensions. So they don't see each other, but they definitely pass through each other.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that this show not only leaves you questioning whether Mulder dreamt the whole thing, but
what kind of experience did he have?
What kind of experience was this?
Right.
All we know is that there were anachronistic characters interacting with Mulder.
Right.
I think it added a nice little whimsical layer to it.
Yeah, whimsical might be a word for it. I don't know if it would be more believable that he had traveled if it weren't,
all of these
Spender
characters
and the smoking man or whatever, right?
But we do get that really fun scene with Skinner, where Skinner double crosses the Nazis.
No, there's definitely a lot that's good about it. It definitely adds a layer if that's the layer you want to add. I'm just wondering if, what would it be without that? Is that really what I want to see?
The tone would have been a lot different.
The tone would have been a lot different.
It would have been a complete shift.
Yeah.
And much more aligned with what your typical episode of The X-Files is.
It might.
Honestly.
I think as far as, what is an X-Files like, it feels like some kind of overly energetic episode of The West Wing or something, you know what I mean? Like they're constantly walking down some narrow corridor. It didn't really occur to me that this was like a continuous shot situation. What occurred to me about it was I wish that there was a difference between being on the boat with Mulder and Scully being in reality at the FBI office.
Like maybe Scully's sequences weren't in that sort of like continuous shot, real time kind of.
That's my thinking, because the way it's shot on the boat, it's very claustrophobic, narrow hallways, a lot of walking and crowds, right? The camera almost doesn't even have room to be in the shot. You know what I mean? Like they're practically not there. And it's moving so rapidly because he's on the run. Nazis are chasing him, and he's in an area that he doesn't recognize. So he's trying to find his way around and get away from Nazis. And the music is pumping and pumping and pumping. And then you get over to Scully, who's in an entirely different situation, but it's shot the same way, so it has the same feel. And I wonder if it would work better if she were not in this frantic state, because she doesn't seem like she really needs to be. You know,
I will agree that of all the characters that seem to act a little bit out of character in this episode, Scully is absolutely like the number one.
Yeah.
To me, like, she doesn't seem very chill
right.
at all.
And that's kind of her thing.
I don't know that she's been given enough to act this frantically.
Right, exactly. I mean, she's trying to find Mulder, and Mulder's trapped out at sea.
I'm really of two minds on this, because I think that the second act with Scully at the FBI building is technically maybe the best executed part of this episode.
Really?
Because you got to think about what's happening as she walks through that building. I don't think there are many cuts in that part at all, because we're mostly in lit areas.
Sure.
But
okay.
Scully leaves her office, gets on the elevator, goes up a floor, goes to Skinner's office, right? Has the interaction with Skinner, leaves that office, gets back on the elevator, goes downstairs. Now, bear in mind, this is not an actual elevator. This is a set, and she's on the elevator, and while she's in that elevator, they're rearranging the entire space out there, right? Stagehands are rearranging the hallways,
is
rearranging
that how they're
all this
doing
stuff.
it, you think?
You know what I mean? Because when she goes back to Kirsch's office, it's the exact same layout.
Yeah.
Structurally, design-wise,
right.
as Skinner's, but everything's in a different place, right?
You don't think they found a way to cut that?
I don't think they did. I don't think they did in the Scully portion, because I think you could do it. Like, you could actually make this work without cutting it, right?
Yes, but this wasn't filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who are they trying to fool? So why would you do that?
Technically, I just think, like, wow, we could do this and make it an ongoing shot and not have any obvious edits in it. Now, there are obvious edits in the Mulder stuff because it's so dark in that boat. But, you know, I could go back and watch it again and see. But all I know is that Gillian Anderson in particular said, yeah, I don't know if this episode's going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think that sequence out of the other sequences in the episode was the one that was like actually a continuous shot.
Well, I think there are enough shots, like you talk about the elevator, there's a point in the elevator where the camera is just staring at a wall.
Yeah, I guess you
that's
could
a
cut
cut.
there. Yeah.
That's a cut. You know, like, I don't see the purpose of like redressing an entire set at the speed at which a camera is supposed to be moving.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they might be in there. I found them harder to spot in that section for sure.
Well, then they just were doing their job well. Obviously,
so.
is the effect that they're trying to give. They fool us well because, like you said, Kirsch's office and Skinner's office are practically the same layout, and they've got an entry and a separate exit.
It's clearly the same set, right?
Yeah, and she can walk through that room. She doesn't have to walk back out of that room.
Right.
But the thing about that scene, if we're talking outside of direction, her at the FBI office is her almost at the end of her rope. And why? Like, I mean, I know Mulder is lost at sea, but is running downstairs really going to make much of a difference?
You remember that time when Mulder was left for dead at that radio tower in South America? Or do you remember that time when Mulder was left for dead underneath all those alien carcasses in that boxcar under the ground?
Exactly.
In Navajo country? Mulder's always in these fucking things. Like,
yes.
He always finds his way to be almost dead somewhere in the world on any given week.
Right, but they're trying to mirror what's going on in the boat. And I'd rather they reflect what's in the boat by doing the opposite. I don't know. And maybe that wouldn't work.
I don't know that it would. I think it would just send the second act grinding to a halt. After the kineticness of that first act. And then you get to the third act and we're doing the same thing again. Like, this is the gimmick, you know? Like, what they're doing is kind of the gimmick of the episode. And I think the only act you could possibly just break into just a regular old episode that's not being told in a continuous shot or in real time would be the second act. And if that's the only act out of the four of them that you're going to do that with, it's really going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Right? I think she acts out of character. I have a lot of questions about the things that happen, not the least of which is, how the fuck did the three of those guys get into FBI headquarters and just come up to Scully's desk?
Oh, the lone gunman?
Right.
Yeah, that's a scene. Are we going to stop a second and talk about that scene? Because I could definitely talk about that scene.
Yeah, let's just do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
That's the beginning. That's the beginning.
So when they show up and they go to her desk, the shot is from their point of view to begin with, you know, as they enter the room.
Yeah.
And then the camera swings back around and shows who it is when she addresses them. Yeah, one, how do they get in the building? You're not wrong there, you know? And two, the first line is...
What are you guys doing here?
Mulder's in trouble. Big trouble.
What do you mean?
Let's take a walk.
Okay, where are we going?
The walls have ears.
I have ears. Will you tell me what's going on?
Mulder's disappeared.
Disappeared from where?
From the National Reconnaissance Office's lacrosse mid-latitude imaging radar satellite.
Let's take a walk.
Right.
The walls have ears, but they literally walk about one desk away. They're still in the room.
The guy at the next desk stands up and looks at them.
She actually moves closer to someone else. Like, you're not getting away from anyone. And
Yeah.
so that just cracked me up to no end. Let's take a walk, you know, over there.
Yeah.
But the lone gunmen themselves, you know, they facilitate something in the story here, get the ball rolling for Scully. But the larger impact of those characters in the series, I think, can't be overlooked.
Oh, no.
When you talk about guest stars, they're like the Whoopi Goldberg of the X-Files, right? Everybody wants the episode that has the lone gunman in it. And, you know, probably second only to the smoking man, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh, the lone gunmen are in this episode. That's awesome.
Like, you're going to love these guys.
Yeah, I love those guys. Oh, it's great. And, you know, like you mentioned earlier, they did attempt a spin-off of that show while the X-Files was still running.
They did, yeah. Ran for, what, I think it was 10 episodes or so?
Yeah, it almost got a full season. I think probably ran a full season. But did you watch any of that show?
Yes.
Yeah. That show to me was just, even back then, I'm much younger back then, you know, not as studied in narrative and writing, but even back then, I was like, man, this is a huge missed opportunity. They're taking the wrong tone with this. And they kind of made the spinoff silly.
It was very silly. Every week was silly. They were joined by like two recurring characters. One was like an intern for them who was like a
dumb
blockhead.
jock.
Yeah, he was a jock. And then you had the female character, Eve, whose name was an anagram for Lee Harvey Oswald. Right? Like, that was her whole deal. She was the mysterious femme fatale of the series.
And she would show up every now and again and either help them or sabotage them in some way.
But you're right, it was a very silly show. I think it's worth watching. I think it's worth catching if you can.
Only to be disappointed by, I feel like.
But it's hard to reconcile that show with the X-Files. Mulder does show up in one episode, though.
Does he?
He does, yeah.
Okay. You know, the jock character, he's indicative of that problem because when they introduce him, he is a youth football coach for blind children.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to teach blind kids how to play football. And, like, that's his big motivation. And I think he's got, like, a millionaire. Like, he's a trust fund kid or something. And that's what he's decided to sink his money into football for the blind. And that's silly.
It's wacky. It's not
wacky.
It wasn't a second hour of the X-Files. It was just something that was completely in the other direction. And it was more like, I don't know, maybe like they looked at the X-Files and thought, what would a more traditional TV series look like in this universe? Because, I mean, like the elements are there to kind of make this something familiar.
Well, my guess is they just wanted to do something that wasn't the X-Files. Like, we can't just do the same show again.
They sort of tried to do the same show again with Millennium, you know, but it was more about, like, serial killers and shit.
Yeah. I didn't watch a lot of Millennium, but they definitely tried to push that.
Millennium was too depressing for me.
Yeah, it was dark.
This is a real downer. The cast was great. Terry O'Quinn was on it. Lance Henriksen as Frank Black. Great cast. But
Mr.
man,
Black.
what a downer. Yeah.
I want you to treat Mr. Black with the same respect you would give me. Now here's Mr. Black.
I was just, disappointed with the way that show turned out because everybody loves these characters so much. And because we're able to go back to the X-Files today just to watch this episode, I'm glad the lone gunmen were in it, you know?
It's good to see them.
Yeah, it's good to see them. And we kind of get to see everybody and even just a little bit.
Yeah, even Agent Spender. You remember where we're at in the series.
Yeah.
At this point, pretty quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. And where we were in the series was smack dab in the 90s. Should we talk about the 90s references that we find in there?
Oh my God. Well, there's a real 90s reference.
Which one are you referring to?
I was referring to the Monica Lewinsky one.
There is definitely the Monica Lewinsky one, yeah.
You can relax. There's no war going on. The world is at peace. There's a little trouble over at our White House, but that'll blow over, so to speak.
That one is straight out of the 90s.
Yeah, and the other being the Spice Girls or something
God, right. And I was like, what the fuck is his problem?
And you come out on the side of history with no small amount of help from us. Not much to apologize over the next 50 years, except for maybe the Spice Girls.
Now, what's wrong with the Spice Girls?
I was like, we all liked the Spice Girls, Chris. Is that you? Is that you speaking through Mulder?
But would Mulder like the Spice Girls?
Mulder would have fucking loved Mr. Sit up and watch porn all night would have loved the Spice Girls. Are you kidding me?
Maybe for the wrong reasons.
Here's the thing. There was a Spice Girl for everyone. There are only 5 types of men.
I don't know which one. I'm not sure which one mine was.
We're not that complicated. And it might change. It might change. You might have once been Baby Spice. But certainly as a middle-aged man, I would never say I was a baby Spicer. Now I'm more of a scary Spice.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know that there's a Spice for me.
Wow.
I can't. I don't
Pumpkin
know.
Spice.
No, that's your thing.
If they kept it going long enough,
there would be a pumpkin spice. That's what they are now. They've kind of gone pumpkin mode.
Yeah.
The only other real 90s reference in there that I noticed is the fact that her cellular phone will not work in an elevator.
Yeah, that was great. I thought, what are you doing, Scully? You know that's not going to work in here. And then it doesn't work in there.
Right. It's like when you're driving and you go through a tunnel with your cell phone. And, suddenly it doesn't work.
Scully? Mulder, is it you? No, I can't. I'm on an elevator. Hold on, I'll be off in a... Hello? No. I can't understand. I can't.
Is that you?
Is it you?
I've been trying to reach you. I got the information you needed.
But that's a great moment because you hear her on the phone and she thinks, Mulder? And then the door opens and it's Skinner and they're both on the phone, looking at each other.
Right, which means they didn't even have caller ID. They didn't recognize the number that was...
I liked that little moment.
It was. That's a good moment, for sure.
Another reference, not 90s reference, but this was the first Wizard of Oz reference in the episode. And it's really, really easy to miss. But the sign that Mulder hides behind while he's being hunted by the Germans aboard the ship, it was advertising the musicians that were playing.
Okay, yeah.
Elmira Gulch and the Lollipop Guild.
The Lollipop Guild.
And Elmira Gulch is the actual name of the Wicked Witch in the real world.
See, that just leads more to the idea that this was a figment of his imagination.
It's definitely, it's definitely not, accidental, and maybe it is all just in his head. Maybe he just fell asleep watching The Wizard of Oz the night before, and this is what you get.
That's fun. I like that.
I don't think a lot of people that are just casually watching or watched The Wizard of Oz 20 years ago know that character's name was Elmira Gulch.
I didn't know that.
That's her name.
Yeah, there you go.
And so I thought that's kind of cool.
Did you look that up?
No, I've seen The Wizard of Oz.
Why do you know all of these things?
Nate, I've watched The Wizard of Oz about 15 times in the last year. My kid went through a Wicked phase, for Christ's sake.
You're like the unapologetic geek tonight. It's like, I know these things.
I know a lot about The Wizard of Oz.
I watched twice for the podcast.
Okay.
And now that I've seen it a total of 3 times, I think I kind of got it. But I think last week I sort of insinuated that maybe I didn't like this episode so much. And it was because I didn't quite get it. Like, it was moving so fast that I wasn't quite sure what was going on. And back in 1998, you couldn't just stop the television. And if you weren't sure what was going on, you had to try and pick it up after the next commercial break, right?
Right.
And I
You get to the end of this hour and you're just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, right. And I kind of got lost at the beginning because in any traditional hijacking from some kind of military force, the ballroom would stop being a dance.
Right.
You know,
Immediately.
like, it's the Queen Anne. It's a
News
British...
travels slow on the Queen Anne.
You said put your hands up.
You see, I told you.
Yeah, you're all big men now, but wait until you get to Russia. I hope you fellas like the cold.
A platoon of Nazis burst into the ballroom, fire their gun into the ceiling, and drag Mulder out. And then the music just kind of starts back up, and they all start dancing a little, like, okay.
It reminds me of the opening sequence of Temple of Doom in the Club Obi-Wan at the beginning of Temple of Doom when they come out. There's a huge, awesome musical number, and then Indy starts that fight, and then the band just starts kind of playing again.
Yeah. But this is a hijacking of the boat. I think maybe part of that is what is confusing to me, because I would have anticipated that this type of scene would be like, okay, now they've got the people tied up and they've got hostages and there are soldiers with guns or whatever. But the boat appears to be so large that in some areas of the boat, they don't know what's going on in other areas of the boat.
They wouldn't be privy to what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so even though the Nazis have control of the bridge and
shot
whatnot,
the captain, right? Like, the captain's dead, but these people are rich. Even if they had seen it, they probably wouldn't care that much.
But there are Nazis killing people in the ballroom. So, I mean, I guess by that point,
At that point, that's a little bit later in the episode.
Yeah, they're doing something about it. But it's like, it was so confusing to me first watch, and even a little bit on the second watch. I did back it up, and I was like, okay, so wait, this is a British boat, and the Germans are coming on board, but they're not taking over immediately because Mulder was dragged to the captain of the boat, who wasn't on the bridge. He was like in his quarters or something. So, like, just the placement of all of the characters aren't in their traditional places where I would have expected them to be.
This is a passenger liner, too. The captain's role is a little bit different. You know, he's supposed to be in his quarters with his feet up on his desk a little bit, you know. This is much more relaxed. There's probably a fun coordinator.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be up there all the time.
Shuffleboard guy.
But then he also knew that the British scientist was on there. What did they call it? The hammer.
Thor's hammer.
Thor's hammer was on the boat. So I don't know. I guess you're waiting for that traditional sense of what a hijacking looks like, and it just wasn't that. You know, like it.
Yeah. The episode also goes out of its way to really kind of paint it as like the people aboard the ship don't realize quite how big a deal the Nazis are yet.
Except for the Scully character.
The Scully character does, but she's like an intelligence agent.
Right.
The crew of this passenger ship are like, I mean, but they're harmless. Come on.
But yeah, but when Mulder shows up in the Nazi uniform, which, you know, interesting choice there. Hide amongst the British ship in a Nazi uniform.
Again, he took a page out of the Indy playbook there.
Not a great plan. When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
You know.
But why, that was a bad page to take, though. Like, why? Like, you're not going to exactly blend into the background and disappear if you're wearing the uniform of the hijacker. Like, I think I understand what he was maybe going for, but even then, when he shows up in the ballroom and Scully threatens to punch his lights out, he's wearing a Nazi uniform, and she doesn't seem fazed by that necessarily. She's just kind of like, hey, like maybe he's just a guy on the boat.
Scully.
I suggest you get your Nazi paws off me before you get one of the kisser.
Oh, it's me, Mulder.
Oh, you speak English, do you? Well, how'd you like to see the stars in the American flag?
I'm not a Nazi.
Oh, sure. You just look like one, right?
I had to steal this uniform. Scully.
Ist der Mann, den Sie wollen?
But is that for us, the viewer, to make sense of this quickly? Because we know that the two of them have a relationship, and it's not going to be adversarial. We want to create a moonlighting situation.
Yeah.
Where it's more playful than adversarial, right?
Right,
and
but I mean, narratively speaking, he's a Nazi soldier on a British cruise line.
But I think also, like what you said like 5 minutes ago is also very important, that this came out in 1998 when you couldn't really pour over every single moment and pause it and rewind it and keep thinking about it. Part of what makes this episode work as an hour of television is built into that propulsive nature of the filmmaking that goes into it, because you can't stop long enough to ask those questions. Like, the story doesn't give you the space to really do it. When Chris Carter wrote and directed this episode, he didn't bank on us, Nate. He didn't bank on us 20 years later sitting here to tear this thing apart. And
I'm
really
not trying to tear it apart.
Not tear it apart like that,
I'm
but
not...
I mean like really think it. I meant 30 years. Jesus Christ. 30 years?
Yeah, don't say that.
Anyways, but I mean, that's kind of it. I think it's the same with like, how did the lone gunman get in there?
And then when she comes out of the building, how is she just right there at exactly the time they're pulling up in the van?
Right. The show is moving so quickly, you can't stop to ask these questions.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like that kind of thing.
There are certain elements in here, though, that do speak to kind of the ongoing threads that were being pulled at that point. Like, Scully is in the basement office where Spender is now in charge of the X-Files, right?
Right.
And Spender walks away and the phone rings and she picks up the phone and it's the smoking man on the other end.
Agent Spender, if you're not back in a hurry, I am going to hunt you down, and so help me God.
Right.
Hello?
Agent Valley?
Yes.
I was looking for Agent Spender.
I'm sorry, he's not here right now. Is there something I can help you with?
Yeah, Agent Scully just handed the assistant director a piece of paper with an intelligence system scribbled on it.
Yes? Yes, sir?
Who is this?
Talking about Agent Scully was right here and blah, 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 blah. I had to give these plans. And Scully's like, why is the cancer man calling Spender? You know, and like all of these little threads like that. And then you've also got the...
well, why did Cancer Man start talking to this random woman's voice on the other end of the phone without knowing who it was?
Right. You'd think he'd be a little bit more adept there.
Yeah.
But even the will they, won't they aspect of Mulder and Scully's characters had kind of reached a fever pitch at this point, too.
Yeah.
And Mulder was at a point where he was like he confesses to her, I love you in this. And she just kind of rolls her eyes and like, whatever, Mulder. And just like walks away, which is the best fucking reaction to that.
It is, except the thing that was so great about that show is how long it went with the platonic relationship.
Right. But the movie started to change it.
Yes.
You know, and the movie started to change it because that's what a movie does.
Yeah.
Right? You can't simply have two characters in it that are platonic. There must be some romantic tension.
That is unfortunate that movie producers believe that.
It's not universal. There are people out there who have gotten away from it, you know?
Well, now, but yeah,
now.
back then. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that was great about that show, is that there wasn't some kind of forced romantic relationship between the two leads. They liked and respected each other.
Agents Mulder and Scully are the sexiest people of the 90s. And now they'll have to work together.
Yeah, right.
Smelling each other every day.
But you're right. That's what was going on there. There's a moment near the end of this. He grabs her and pulls her in for a kiss, just in case we don't see each other again.
If you don't go back and convince the crew of this ship to turn the ship around and head back into the Devil's Triangle, everything Einstein predicted will become true, except for the outcome of history.
So if I don't turn this ship around,
In all likelihood, I won't exist. Neither will you. So in case we never meet again. I was expecting the left.
If you're, season 3 Mulder, you're thinking like, what are you doing? Do you feel that way about Scully all of a sudden?
Yeah.
When before, the relationship I saw between those two was sort of like Mulder is kind of like that nerdy kid in class that got
paired up with the hot chick.
Partnered up with the hot chick in science class.
Yeah.
And, like my lab partner is super hot. And so do I try to impress, or am I just going to be myself? And, ultimately he's just cool Fox Mulder because he doesn't really care what people think.
Yeah.
And it works for him. That relationship it's flirtatious without being romantic. That's when it's working its best.
Sure. What's funny is when they were interviewed, I think around the time of the revival, and asked by an interviewer about the status of Mulder and Scully's relationship, they each had different impressions of what their historic relationship together had been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like one of them said, well, they were married at one point, and the other one was like, they were never married.
I don't think they were ever married.
They weren't married.
But they were living together in a house.
Yeah, in that cabin.
Yeah.
I think David Duchovny was like, well, yeah, they were married, but now things are a little weird, and Gillian Anderson was like, yeah, they never got married, But it's like, that's where their relationship ended up. It's like, even for us, the viewers, we're like, I'm not sure what they are to each other anymore.
Right.
And it used to be very, very clear.
Yeah, exactly. And if it came back again for a 13th season today, I'd have no recollection of what their relationship is supposed to be like.
Sure.
And it would just, for me, revert back to like season 1, season 2. Okay, well, he's the one that believes and she's the skeptic, and they have a respect for one another. And that,
we are getting that. Worked. We are getting that reboot soon.
Oh, it's a whole new series.
Yeah, but I heard that Gillian Anderson is involved
as Scully.
That was the implication.
Yeah.
Look, put her in anything, I say.
I like her, yeah.
You guys are listening to this on the Monday right after Tron Ares came out, and Gillian Anderson is in Tron Ares.
Oh, is she? No,
she is.
Now I might need to
I know
see
you
that.
don't know that, right? You know Jared Leto's in it, but you don't know that Gillian Anderson's in it. I think they should be leading with that.
Yeah, right. I'm like, now I might go see it. No, I really like Gillian Anderson, not just for the sex symbol that she was in 1990. Because
that she is now, man.
Yeah,
she's still got it. But no, she's an interesting performer. She's a really great human.
Yeah, and when I say she was a sex symbol in the 90s, it was in that really cool way, in the same way that like Deanna Troi was too. Same kind of idea where they're not like flaunting sexuality or whatever. You just like loved Scully because she was in this genre and was a powerful woman, that was just like,
yeah.
And
Scully was a post-Clarice Starling character.
Yeah.
I don't think you get Scully as she was on that show without Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, that's good.
But that's where that character comes from, and we love Clarice Starling for the same reason that we love Dana Scully. She's just she's tough, she's shorter than everyone around her, she's surrounded by men, but she, goddammit, is not taking shit. Right?
Right.
And having her in the role of the skeptic is an intrinsic part of that, right? Someone who's going to push back naturally.
Yeah. And, I mean, when you say she wouldn't take shit, I think when she started, she was kind of a tool.
Yes. Well, Mulder calls her out on it. He's like, I was under the impression you were sent to spy on me,
Which she was.
Which she absolutely was.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was so fun, when the series started.
And she doesn't become a believer even after seeing an actual flying saucer 3 feet from her face. But she sees enough. She sees enough over the course of that first season to lend credence to what Mulder's doing, right?
To end up having respect for what he believes.
Yes.
Even though she's going to poke holes in just about anything that he can find, which is great. Man, That's when that show is really working. But I guess you've seen Gillian Anderson interviewed then.
Sure.
I just remember seeing her on The Daily Show, I think, at one point. And she is like the polar opposite of Scully.
Yeah.
Like, you would not believe how far removed Gillian Anderson is from Dana Scully. It's like, I mean, it's a pure performance. And I don't mean to make it sound like Gillian Anderson is dumb.
Are you chewing
No,
gum?
I'm not.
That's right here, young lady. Right here.
But can I have it afterwards?
If it goes well.
Can I put it right there?
All right, well, here, let me, just a minute. Oh, it's not the one with a hole in it.
No, it doesn't have a hole in it. Yeah, I was walking out here and I realized that I look a little too much like a Spice Girl myself.
No. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I didn't mean there was anything wrong with that, but I think I'd probably...
How does she sound so smart when she's playing Dana Scully?
Acting.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, the difference was night and day. And I don't know if maybe she was just hopped up on something when she was on the Jon Stewart show, but
I mean, nobody was taking that too seriously. But
I mean, like, she was...
Yeah.
It was bizarre, and I was like, who is this?
It sounds like your impressions were dashed like mine were when Kirsten Dunst was on Celebrity Jeopardy.
What?
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst was on Celebrity Jeopardy, and it did not go well for her.
But who thinks of Kirsten Dunst as super smart?
I mean, this was like 1999, 1998, 2000, somewhere around there.
She was in a cheerleader movie.
Bring It On was a couple years later. This is before Spider-Man, I think. It was after she had done, what was it, Interview with the Vampire?
She starred in Jumanji and Little Women, earned the Golden Globe for Interview with the Vampire, and guested on ER. Welcome, Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, man.
She was in stuff. But anyway, whatever the case was, I was like, oh
disillusioned by Kirsten Dunst's performance on Celebrity Jeopardy.
Great actress. But...
If nothing else, this has given me an opportunity to play some clips from Celebrity Jeopardy.
Let's take a look at the categories. They are potent potables, an album cover.
Well, the game is afoot. I'll take anal bum cover for $7,000.
Turd Ferguson.
Gotta go back and talk about Mitch Pileggi a little bit, because that guy.
Okay.
Mulder and Scully got all the credit for it, but you remember that photo shoot they did where they were basically in bed together? I can't remember if it was Vanity Fair or what the photo shoot was.
Yeah.
And there was like sheets. It was very sexy, but Mitch Pileggi was in that bed too. It was like the three of them.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem weird at all.
Well, you're time warping me now, because, yeah, I remember that now. That was weird.
Right. I guess when I was like a kid, he seemed like considerably older than Mulder and Scully because he didn't have hair. Because obviously, Nate, you know,
hey,
the older you get, the less hair you have, and it ages you dramatically.
And your headphones become less comfortable.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. You don't have that matte
up
top.
Yeah.
God knows that's why we have hair. As bipeds, we developed hair so we would have something to rest the headphones on.
It's a cold world without hair, Brian. At any rate.
But Mitch Pileggi, like, he's bald and he's old. Why would anybody... And then, like, you get older and it's like, oh, no, I get why they thought he was fucking sexy. Because that man looks...
a linebacker.
He does. Like, the guy is fucking huge.
Yeah.
He's got intense eyes. He's got a great voice. He looks fucking great in those glasses, man.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, all right. I think I'm Team Skinner now.
Skinner! Superintendent Chalmers.
Yeah, well, we talked about Scully seeming a little out of character. There's a scene in the elevator where she grabs him and kisses him. Like,
because he gets the stuff.
Because he gets the information that she needs.
And that brings me to what I really wanted to talk about, which was the origin of the title of this episode.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. But it wasn't lost on me that this episode is called Triangle, and Scully kisses Skinner, and then Mulder kisses Scully, and we obviously are immediately having a triangle.
Okay. That was lost on me.
Nice old menage a Skinner.
Her doing that doesn't seem to fit at all.
Doesn't seem to fit her character.
But she's the one that's in reality, though.
Oh, yeah. Like this is real. This all actually happened.
Yeah, I don't like it.
When Skinner gets off the elevator and he's like,
I spent the next 3 years in a POW camp, forced to subsist on a thin stew made of fish, vegetables, prawns, coconut milk, and 4 kinds of rice. I came close to madness trying to find it here in the States, but they just can't get the spices right.
if you come to me and ask me for help again, I swear to God, I'm going to fight. You know, like that was Skinner. That was like a great Skinner moment. But that kiss is so weird.
He was acting because the smoking man was on the floor.
I know, that was great. Like Kirsch and
yeah.
the smoking man were right there.
Right.
And so he comes off and immediately switches gears to protect her.
Yeah.
Right?
And
to protect himself.
Yeah. And of course, Scully gave him probably the best line in the show.
Use your head, Scully. It'll save your ass.
Save your own ass, sir. You'll save your head along with it.
Yeah. That was the one moment in the episode I did rewind like twice.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
That's good writing. Nobody can think on their feet that quickly.
But you're right. Like, you comparing this to The West Wing is really good because this is a
talk fasting,
walk and talk,
fasting,
zing,
talking
talk fasting. Me am talk good while walk down corridor.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Just quickly walking down corridors and talking about
walk through
things.
a room, talk, press
yada
button,
yada yada.
Bump in person.
I mean, I love The West Wing, and it works great for The West Wing, but I don't know if I like it here as much.
There's supposed to be less talking in the X-Files. You know, just naturally, it's like, this is about subterfuge. This is about mystery. When you talk too much, it feels like everything's out on the table.
Yeah, like the Scully that I know, if she walked into Kirsch's office and the smoking man was in there, I feel like she'd play it so much cooler than she did. You know?
Yeah.
Didn't she used to hold meetings with the smoking man?
The first meeting she has in the entire show in the pilot, the smoking man's in the corner.
Yeah, and she's just there, like, giving her report. So she's already familiar with that guy.
He might have hired her.
He probably chose her, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, here's the scientist that's going to be nonplussed by all of the stuff that Mulder tries to show her.
And as a plus, she believes in Jesus. Can you believe it?
Yeah. But even that came later, right? When did they introduce that?
Oh, no, that was early on. That was at least like Beyond the Sea. That was season 1.
3 or something, right?
No, I think it was like when her dad died. That was the first
right.
Scully Faith episode was Beyond the Sea.
I just remember Scully doing a bunch of autopsies. That's Dr. Scully.
Was it before or after her hot sister showed up for the first time?
Would you? Oh, my God.
Geez. She was on Mad Men. Scully's hot sister.
Scully was the hot sister. Dr. Scully.
That's the thing. Like, her sister shows up and it's like, how is this possible? She's got a hotter sister than you?
No, she didn't.
Oh, yeah, she did, because she had a choker. The sister had a choker instead of a cross around her neck. Yeah.
You know, Scully had an FBI badge.
You know, I'm going to use these social medias to put a poll up, and I'll put a picture of Scully
the poll up.
And a picture of her hot sister, and then we'll see.
Yeah. All right. You're on. When we talk about the direction outside of the fast-moving, single shot directing that we're doing here, the thing that I think that he really pulls off is there are a couple of scenes in here where somebody has to be shot on camera. Like shot in the head, right?
Yes. Very, very cool when they do that.
Very good camera movements to obscure a gunshot
to the head
with somebody else's figure.
Or it pans over. Or
following the camera down the arm
that
has the gun extended and letting the gunshot happen just off screen,
Implied viscera.
Yeah, like
is kind of what I would call it. You can see what happened, but not because he showed you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
It's shot really creatively, and you get lost on the stuff that you could and couldn't do on television, because we live in the era of the Kingpin decapitating somebody with a car door. You know, like slamming
geez,
somebody's
that was
head in a
intense, wasn't
car
it?
door until his head pops off. But back
We
then,
live in the era of Gus Fring emerging from a hospital room looking like fucking Two-Face.
yeah, right, with his skull exposed. When this was airing, you couldn't show that stuff.
Can't you just picture Chris Carter showing that to the censors at Fox and being like, huh? Huh?
This is all right, isn't it?
I did it. I didn't show it.
He's honestly already getting away with the cigarette.
That's true. That's true.
Smoking on television was against the rules, too.
Yeah.
I remember there's a television series which, you know, I'd love it if we covered it on this show, but I doubt anybody have any interest in it. But the American version of Life on Mars.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about that.
We talked about it a little bit because it was the 70s and everybody smoked in the 70s and everybody smoked indoors in the 70s. They were trying to give it that feel on television, and one of the detectives always had a cigarette in his hand, but he never put it to his lips.
Yeah.
He's just holding it all the time. Every time you see him, he's just holding the cigarette. You're just not allowed to smoke on TV. You just don't do that if you want viewers. And, you know, here's the cigarette smoking man. It was the coolest thing he does is take a drag off that cigarette.
That's his defining characteristic.
That's his
like,
thing.
Quite literally. That's his thing. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, you know, back in the 70s, what you would do, typically, my understanding, is like 3 or 4 people would get in a phone booth. And they would all light up. And they would stay in there for upwards of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what you did in the 70s. If it was an enclosed space, the more enclosed, the more smokers were in there.
20 years before that, it was healthy. Doctors were smoking.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Doctors recommend Chesterfields.
Lucky Strike. Unfiltered smooth flavor.
Only Lucky Strike provides the smooth flavor pregnant women crave.
That notwithstanding, that guy was cool in his mysteriousness. And the more you learned about him, the less interesting he became.
Yeah.
Not because of what they were revealing, but it's so much cooler to not know. You know, like you could write the very best origin of the Joker, and it's still cooler to not know the origin of the Joker.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. One of the cool things, okay, so in the first act, when Mulder is brought aboard the ship, none of the German dialogue is subtitled.
Yeah, I've got that down too, actually.
The propulsive nature of this episode, Mulder's dragged in, and very quickly he's like, wait, am I in 39? What is going on? And not having that dialogue translated only adds to that, right?
Wer ist dieser Mann?
Er hat eine meiner Männer zusammengeschlagen und seine Uniform gestohlen. Er ist ein Spion.
Wo sind die Waffen versteckt?
No sprechen.
Die Waffen haben Sie an Bord, nicht?
I don't speak Nazi.
So it's just as disorienting for us as it is for him.
Yeah, that's a creative choice to not subtitle the German, or even to just not have them speak English in a thick German accent.
Yeah, as was the style at the time.
Right. All of the story that is being told by them is by their action. You don't need the dialogue.
Yeah.
The other thing about when he gets dragged out of the water and all the British sailors that are dragging him out of the water, you know, there's constant talking and loud shouting to each other on the bow of this boat or whatever. And it really comes off, and this is going to sound like an insult, but it's not, comes off like stage acting.
There he goes. Lots of life in him. Give it up, matey. Good for you. That's what you get for your trouble.
Maybe he's just taking a long swim.
Yeah, or a short flight. You an airman, mate?
Oh, no, he's not dressed like an airman.
What kind of uniform is that, then? Sprachen Sie Deutsch, ja?
I saved a rat, and we throw him overboard like a rat.
Right. It's in the heap-ho.
Did you get that feel? And then I think the kinetic movement after the fact just kind of made the whole thing feel like it was on stage. You must have felt that way, because that's why you were talking about, like, redressing the set while she was in the elevator.
Like, it really does feel like a stage production.
Yeah, it really does.
Like, the energy is the same. The movement is constant. There are natural points at which we're shifting from one time period to another, or one narrative focal point to another within like Act 4, right? But it does feel like a stage production. It has the frenzied nature of it, but almost like a stage production where you're not sitting in the audience, where you're just following the lead actor around.
When they fished him out of the water and they were all talking amongst themselves and shouting at each other, kind of felt like somebody sitting in the front row right up on the stage of something that could end up being a musical 2 seconds
Yeah, you
from
were in the splash zone, as Gallagher fans would have been finding themselves. You know, they probably would have gotten a little wet sitting in the front row of this one too.
And it seemed over dramatic, a little over emphatic, as it were. But I liked that. I like stage acting. A lot of people don't, you know. I mean, it's boisterous, you know. You have to project, and like people aren't.
You have to be really animated.
Yeah,
right?
animated.
No room for understatement.
Exactly, and really convey all of that emotion at the height of that emotion, even if it's supposed to kind of be subtle, because you don't have a zoom in, right? You don't get a close up when you're on stage.
You know that John Bernthal of Walking Dead and Punisher fame is going to be in a stage production of Dog Day Afternoon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to go. He didn't seem like a boisterous guy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's probably changed these days. I don't spend a lot of time on Broadway, but the medium changes.
I'd be curious. I'd be curious to see that. But
it would be interesting.
If you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
So we're ready to talk about the method of time travel then.
Yes.
Now, the method of time travel, from what I can tell, is jumping into the water.
That would make it better than at least half of the time travel methods.
Just a water slide. Everybody loves a water slide. But in all honesty, the way this episode ends, Mulder is convinced and has convinced us as the audience that all they have to do is turn the boat back around and he's going to jump in the water and we should be good. Like, what? How is that a resolution? Well, and what is it that they're turning back to go to? The Devil's Triangle, right?
Got to go back through the rift so everyone ends up back in their proper time, theoretically. What we know is that the ship was in 39, and then it very clearly, albeit empty, was in 1998.
Right.
I would attribute the time travel in this episode to Bermuda Triangle.
Okay, yeah, for our purposes, yeah, I agree that basically it's the mysterious nature of a paranormal Bermuda Triangle. Like, I feel like that's what we're ranking.
Yes.
But if I'm just speaking analytically about this episode, there's nothing narratively to concretely say that what Mulder wants to do will work.
No.
And he just jumps off the boat.
Other than that, Mulder knows about Thor's hammer and he understands who that person is.
Right, but why wouldn't he? Seems to me it would be more important that he get that boat back to 1939
than it is for him to come back. Right.
Regardless of himself. That should be the goal. And there's no evidence to suggest that just turning around is going to send them back there.
How long before the Enterprise C enters the rift? 52 seconds, sir. All remaining power to the defense systems.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know what's going on there as far as the story is concerned. There's no resolution here. It's basically like we've got 42 minutes and it has to end now. Just tell the audience what's happening. And I think it might be another aspect of it that leads you to believe, well, none of it was real anyway.
Yeah, I mean, sort of they just run out of room and Mulder just jumps off the ship. Again, I think the episode had kind of proven its point by simply existing. Because again, I think this episode is like 40% story and like 60% technique. And it's more of a like, can we pull a story like this off? And the climax of the episode isn't what happens in the ballroom. The climax of the episode is the split screen shot where they walk past each other.
Right.
Right? Because it's about the technique. It's not really about the story first and foremost. That's why so much of it is just a Wizard of Oz allegory.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I don't know that that's something I'm keen on. I'd rather just have a resolution to a conflict. Clearly, there's a conflict involved here. Mulder's got to find a way to get back to 1998, and turns out he can just jump off the boat.
Hey, this episode is actually a lot like yesterday's Enterprise, now that I think about it.
Just send the boat back through the rift.
We got to send the boat back through, and I guess everything worked out okay.
Return to the battle. We barely escaped with our lives. If we returned, we'd be destroyed.
Yeah, if you believe it even happened.
Yeah.
But so I guess as far as the ranking is concerned, though, like we said, we're going to do the paranormal nature of the Bermuda Triangle. Now, when I was growing up, Bermuda Triangle was the shit.
Oh, we had books about it.
Oh,
Time
yeah.
Life made books about it. We were just like, oh, man, the Bermuda Triangle.
The Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, yeah.
Bigfoot footage.
Native American shit, you know?
Yeah, man.
All of that stuff.
The Bermuda Triangle was super cool. So many different stories about the things that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle and why would that be happening, and like radio's not working and compasses going all out of whack and electronics going haywire on boats and planes and stuff.
Ships getting lost. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't hear anybody talk about that anymore.
I think it's
nothing gets lost in the triangle anymore.
We're just not interested in mysteries anymore. It's like, I need to know the answer now.
Well, we have all those satellites now.
Yeah.
We always know where everything is.
Way to go, technology.
Yeah.
You ruined the last cool things.
Nothing mysterious about the triangle anymore, but back in the day, man, it was like you choose to believe or you don't, you know?
Right.
And I chose to believe. Bermuda Triangle was weird. I had never heard it called the Devil's Triangle, though.
That is an interchangeable name.
Yeah, well, I kind of get that from the TV show.
Like it actually was, though. I had to look that up, too. I was like, Devil's Triangle. Is that just a Mulderism? But no, it's not.
No, it's not. But they were all kind of watched documentaries on all the theories and something about the polar nature of the magnetism around that area on the globe. There was another one about geysers coming up out of the ocean because of, you know, like...
Jesus Christ. It's like Charybdis. Was that the one in the Odyssey that's just a giant whirlpool?
Yeah. The one that was the coolest was there was a whole squadron of military aircraft that got lost flying through the triangle and just were never found. All of these really interesting stories and mysteries surrounding it. So... the Bermuda Triangle itself, from somewhere in my heart, sits up pretty high on the list. I don't know how well it works on this TV show,
list,
though.
Yeah. I don't know.
How do you rank it? What do you rank? Do you rank the childlike wonder and mysticism of the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah, because here's the thing. We're going to see a lot of temporal rifts.
Yeah.
When are we going to hit the Bermuda Triangle again, though? You know what I mean? That's like that doesn't come along very often.
Pretty cool.
I would personally probably rank this 15 on the list is the cryo prison from Demolition Man
15?
that we've got.
Okay.
Substation version on the Visitor, time travel transporter in Relativity, Voyager, that we just watched. And then the escape hatch. Now, beneath the cryo prison, we've got the Aurora Borealis, which I think this is better than.
Oh, yeah, it's better than... yeah, sure.
Right? So it's a still natural phenomenon, but it's way fucking cooler.
Yeah.
You know? The Aurora Borealis is just pretty.
Yeah.
So that's why I bring those ones up, because it's at least in the 16th spot on the list.
Yeah, I wonder if it's better than those Star Trek ones you mentioned.
I personally think it is, because that's why I said it's like we're going to see temporal rifts, we're going to see transporters or whatever, you know. We'll see, though.
Well, not through the end of the year.
Well, that's true. But then we get the escape hatch in Secret Avengers, and then we've got Kenneth's boat in Safety Not Guaranteed, and then Dr. Doom's time platform. And so we're definitely operating below Doom's time platform, but...
right, and Kenneth's boat, maybe?
Probably.
So what was right under Kenneth's boat right now?
The Secret Avengers escape hatch.
I just love the Bermuda Triangle, man. The Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
You know,
all the
black
Time
and
Life
white
mysteries
photo.
of the unknown.
Yeah,
books.
like that black and white photo of the Loch Ness Monster that you saw in all the encyclopedias.
The Time Life mysteries, the unexplained or whatever it was called.
For sure. I don't know. Is it better than the escape hatch?
I would put it right below the escape hatch.
Okay.
So before the time travel transporter from Relativity.
Oh, it's definitely higher than that.
Yeah, so that's where I'd put it. And that would also be number 13 on the list right now, which is, an unlucky number. Seems kind of
Well, 10-13.
Might not stay there, but, it's there.
I think we have to do it. 10-13?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, well, we'll do that, but that's the deciding factor, because I personally think I might put the Bermuda Triangle above the escape hatch. For the sake of numerology, we can do 13.
All right. Just as nice to revisit the X-Files as it is to revisit Star Trek. Hey, if you just let autoplay take over Dreamland,
Yeah,
which is
maybe.
not a traditional episode, but that's a great one.
Yeah, that one's not really traditional either, but something more like Alex Trebek dressed up as a man in black.
So good. Jesse Ventura and Alex Trebek.
It's definitely the best episode.
Alex Trebek.
The
game show
host?
So next episode, we're getting back to the movies.
Oh, a movie?
Finally,
I'll be goddamn.
And it'll be a little bit later in spooky season, so with Halloween right around the corner, we're going to be watching the 2023 Amazon Prime original film, Totally Killer.
Ooh.
Starring Kiernan Shipka.
That's a listener request, actually.
Yeah, I think it was a listener request at one point. I haven't watched this one before. I remember when it came out, I was like, this sounds right up my alley. So I'm glad I'm going to force myself to finally commit to it.
6 weeks in a row now, we've talked about something familiar. This is totally new. Totally new.
Going to be uncharted territory. We haven't talked about something totally new to us since Time Guardian, I think.
Yeah.
We saw how well that went.
A movie that's 40% landscaping.
Yeah. We should have ranked that instead of the time travel.
Oh, man.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the show on your preferred podcast app. Rate the show if you dare. Leave us comments if you must. You can also drop us a line at ohboyqlpod@gmail.com and also follow us on social media. I don't know what you guys are listening to this a couple weeks later, but I did post a picture of a Tholian earlier today on there. So those of you who listen to the Enterprise episode,
I'm going to go look at it.
What that Tholian looked like initially. Now, I saw some later pictures from comics and stuff that depicted it quite differently in terms of lower torso.
But this is an image, like a screen grab from the Tholian in the original series?
This would be a depiction of it from the official Star Trek handbook to other worlds, like the Federation Guide to Planets.
Okay, you mentioned that in the episode, yeah. I thought maybe try and find a screen grab of a Tholian from the actual original series.
Yeah, there's that too, but it really just shows it from like what would be the neck up.
Yeah.
Which I guess is pretty. It's nice to look at. But this is way more interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so follow us at Oh Boy.
You want to see that Tholian?
Yeah, if you want to see the Tholian and any other weird alien anatomical structures, follow us at OhBoyPod on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads.
Consequently, my father has destroyed his painting from Slaughterhouse 5. He decided that he didn't like it, and it wasn't what he was trying to accomplish, so he's destroyed that painting. He did ask me to have you take it down, but I'm like, that's not how social media works. I didn't tell him that.
Look, but it is how creativity works, and so I totally get that.
I think he's going to do something that's more fitting, I think. At any rate, maybe we'll see a new Vonnegut painting before too long.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'll post that too.
Yeah.
Until next time, folks, I'm Brian.
Oh, and I'm Nate.
And we'll see you in the future.
How would you explain it? A dozen people around the world who never met each other describe an encounter with a being from space, and their descriptions of the creature match almost exactly. And how can you explain the growing number of people who feel that they've had a brush with something beyond our everyday understanding? Maybe no one can fully explain these things, but they can no longer be ignored. That's why Time Life takes a serious look into this world with a remarkable new series, Mysteries of the Unknown, to provide an objective and comprehensive look at what may lie beyond our ordinary reality. There are so many hints of a world more remarkable than we ever imagined, and of abilities that we barely suspect.
Mommy, all I could think of was you.
I know.
Send for your first volume on a free trial basis and see if you can explain these things away.
To order your first book, Mystic Places, call 1-800-548-4600. Examine it for 10 days. Keep it and pay just $12.99 plus shipping and handling. Other books will follow, one about every other month. Keep only the ones you want. Cancel anytime. Call 1-800-548-4600.